Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is 2023, and this is the Broker That Never Sleeps podcast. I am so excited to bring some amazing information to you today, right now, that's going to help you as an aspiring real estate agent or a real estate agent who already crushes it. What we're going to talk about today in this podcast is we're going to talk about specifically how to set yourself up to break into the luxury market. Now, it's something that I've done myself personally, and I feel an obligation to share it with all of you. But first, before I do that, here is a picture of me right here. This is a picture of me when I was 24 years old, okay, in New York City, starting as a real estate broker. You see who that person is now? Now you see who I am today, right? In order for me to get there, I need a couple things. The first thing that I need is for everyone right now to go to that like button and hit that subscribe button, because if you do that right now, it not only makes me feel good, but it helps get the numbers up, and then it allows me to be able to share more valuable information for you. Okay, so hit that like button, mash that button. It would just make me totally flattered. That notification bell too, you know that notification bell? Hit that. That's going to let you know exactly when I'm going to be streaming, when I'm going to be going and dropping new pieces of content for you. So breaking into the luxury market is something that, I think a lot of people see the TV shows and they say, I want to break into that luxury market. Oh my God. Ryan Serhant just sold a mansion for $100 million. He just made $6 million or $5 million. Wow. I want to do that. I want to roll out of bed and make $500,000, make $6 million. But most people don't understand what it takes to actually get there, what it takes to break into the luxury market. Now, I'm a luxury broker today. Okay, right now, I'm a luxury broker. I've closed last year, close to $100 million in real estate, including a $34 million mega mansion down in Miami. And here's the photo right here. You can see that. It is huge, west facing. By the way, I sold that in 2020 for $18 million. I resold it again in 2022 in March for 34. So how do you break into a luxury market like that? How do you do deals like that? Well, I'm going to tell that story right now, and I appreciate you for checking in and listening to this. It really means a lot to me. So I think what we need to understand is 2022 is probably one of the most volatile years we've seen. At least in my lifetime. There's been a lot of changes. There's been wars. There's been currency devaluations, inflation. Mortgage interest rates have risen tremendously. The housing market has been getting crushed. But that's for the normal people. I don't mean it like that. I mean like that's what the normal situation is for literally not only America, but the entire world. But there's a small segment of that market that doesn't care so much about the 7% or the 6% or the 5% interest rates. That's the uber wealthy, and that's the luxury product that we're seeing, okay? And it's very easy to be a real estate broker, by the way. Very easy to be a real estate broker when the market's good. Put a thing on the market, it sells, wow, you're great. What I like to do is thrive in the volatility, right? So the first thing that I do is I set myself up to say, when everybody's scared, the market, the interest rates. Oh, the market's not doing well. Hey, Jane, yeah, how's the market? Oh, not doing so well. That's when I make my money. I make more money spending less time working in luxury market in an environment that everyone's afraid of. Think about that. So everyone's going this way, and I like to just kind of look over here and go that way. Ryan Serhant sold $144 million mansion. Can we get that on? Can we get that online? Let's get $144 million Palm Beach mansion right here. During the pandemic, I sold an $18 million. Look, mine's not 144. That's pretty incredible. But I sold $18 million. So Ryan is somebody who thrives in the chaos, and it's also something that I do. I thrive in the chaos, and I think what I'm trying to do right now is instill in each and every one of you that there are cash buyers who are not affected by interest rates. that you can break into the luxury market. And one of the main things, and that I want to share that I think is vital to this whole story of breaking into the luxury market, was when I got into real estate. It's pretty incredible. When I first got into real estate, I had a mentor, and I said to him, I was in a townhouse for an event from my old college, and I was like, wow, I'm in real estate. Like, I'd love to sell this. Maybe I should talk to the owner. And he's like, look, you're 23, you're 24 years old. By way of background, I got into real estate very, very young, right out of college. You could check the first podcast episode to hear my story. So at the time, my mentor, his name was Bryant, he said to me, look, don't talk to the townhouse owner right now. He's like, just wait. You don't really know what you're doing. But I can tell you that real estate is a very unique business, Nile. All you need to do is last longer than the people that you got your real estate license with, okay? What does that mean? That means that whenever you get your real estate license, when I got my license, you had to sit in a class. I went to New York Real Estate Institute. Ryan Serhant is an ambassador for the New York Real Estate Institute, which is nyrei.com. That's how you get your real estate license. So NYREI has, let's just say per class, about 100 people, okay, trying to get their real estate license. So what Bryant said is if you can just outlast those 100 people, all the business that those people might get at the beginning will eventually go to you. And it sounds just like a pretty basic concept, but the way that I looked at real estate was just basically a war of attrition, meaning as long as I could I took Bryant's advice very, very seriously. And I said, as long as I can at least just make it, eventually I know I'm smart enough. Eventually I know I'm savvy enough, skilled enough to be able to break into this market. So I have to understand, where my role is right now. And it's a college graduate, right? And I don't know much about the business, but all I know is that if I constantly apply myself and work very, very hard over the course of 10 or 15 years, eventually I'm going to be able to get into the luxury market, okay? So that was my belief at the beginning, was just being in the business for longer, because eventually the people that might be doing luxury business, their brokers might not be in New York City anymore because of a pandemic. And I thought that the pandemic was probably one of the best things that could have happened in New York City real estate because it shook out a lot of the players. And it pretty much left it wide open for people like Ryan Serhant and myself to dominate the New York City market, because we were working hard during the pandemic when everybody else was fearful. And we set ourselves up for major, major success as the city opened back up, because we knew it would. New York, by the way, New York is never dead. As much as you want to say that New York is dead because of the pandemic or because of 9/11 or because of anything, I understand what you're saying, but this is New York fucking City. Let's never forget that. This is the city that never sleeps, and I am the broker that never sleeps. Don't forget that. This is that podcast. So what I want to say is that since I've been in the business for a long time, in the contacts that I've been focusing on have slowly got higher and higher. When I first started in the business, if somebody was a manager, a sales manager at a Verizon store, and they made 70 grand a year, I was like, oh my God, this guy's a real boss. Now, my perception has changed. My clients have changed. So I'm gonna elaborate on that through a story. Okay, so I'm gonna tell a story right now. I have a team. Okay, I have my team is about 10 strong right now. One of the agents, who is one of my top producers and a total savage, came up to me and he said, Nile, I'm doing a lot of deals. Things are happening. I've quadrupled my production with you. This is incredible. But then he said something that made me think, wow, this kid's really onto something. He said, how are you doing what you do? How do you manage a team and all these new developments, but then also be working with very, very wealthy individuals, 100 millionaires, billionaires, people that own companies, CEOs of publicly traded companies? How do you, because he was like wondering, he's like, it seems like you're spending 70, 80% of your time on the team and the team management and helping other people grow, but you're only spending 20, 30% of your time with these high-end markets and you're closing $60, $70 million in real estate. How does that add up? And I said, bingo. That's the answer. How does it add up? How does Nile Lundgren, how does anybody break into the luxury market? In my opinion is that if you want it, you could do it. One of the first things that I want to say about breaking into the luxury market is that this type of market is not for everybody. I just want to start there, okay? If you are somebody who thinks that you are going to get into real estate part-time, 9 to 5, 4 to 5 days a week, and then do deals at the caliber that I'm talking about, you got another thing coming. I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay? You have to understand that as a luxury broker right now, I'm taking calls at 2 a.m. My clients aren't in New York. They're in Dubai. You know what that means? That means you got to wake up when you don't want to talk, okay? And you're going to have to talk when you're tired. And also be on point and know exactly what you're talking about. Have all of the things that you're working on with the client in front of you so that when you go to sleep and if you get a call, boom, you can pull them up right there. There's no likes, there's no ums. You're just on it. You're to the point. Okay, so number one, this is not an independent contractor type of a situation. You want to be a luxury broker? You need to make yourself available. Okay, one of the key points is making yourself available. The other one we talked about was just outlasting the rest of the competition, right? So it's kind of fun the way that I look at it is I'm just outlasting all these people, and eventually it just kind of happens, right? I know it sounds, maybe like a little crazy. It just happens, but like I could have done a lot of business when I was younger. By the time I was 24, 25 to 30 even, I could have really focused on building my deal summary. I could have did a $600,000 co-op and, spent 8 months on that and then did an $800,000 co-op or $1 million. But my strategy was predestined. Like my strategy was that I wanted to be a luxury broker. So instead of me focusing on those deals, and yes, I have done those deals over my career and they were very important in my growth, okay? Very important in my growth. But oftentimes, if I noticed that a seller was, for example, difficult or I wouldn't be able to sell it and that deal wouldn't necessarily be a good use of my time, I would walk away. And then I would focus on other things like my relationships, okay? The relationships with the people that I'm in touch with. So going back to the story with my agent who said, how do you break into the luxury market? I said, look, one of the first things you need to understand is that I focus on the relationships. He's like, what do you mean? I also had a vision of where I wanted to go, luxury. And then I said, well, if I want to go to luxury, and who do I need to know? Relationships to get there. Because I know what this agent does. This agent is a G. The agent is out there working his butt off every single day. He even goes to the golf course. And I love the golf course. I think it's a good place to close business. But is it a place to win business? Ask yourself that seriously. So I said that to my agent. I said, is the golf course where you want to be? I don't know. Is it? He's like, well, why? Why? It's a good place. It's where you can meet people. I said, who golfs? Maybe the owner of the company golfs, but is he golfing in a 2-set, a 3-set? Do you get to meet him before or after? Drinks? Are you getting drinks? Are you just playing golf and you're saying you're networking? What does that really mean? Because to me, I'm not saying that I don't golf, or I'm not saying that deals don't happen on the golf course. But I'm saying for me, the people who I know who are big at golf, especially later in life, want to get away from their kids or wife or family, right? Sometimes, like that's one of them. And then the other thing is like, they're probably, unless it's a very elite golf course, they're probably like a manager, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a vice president or a manager of sales or marketing or a director. But if that's who you're going and being around all the time, if that's your surroundings, then that's what you're going to get more of, right? So what I said to my agent is like, what I did was I focused on finding somebody who was in the luxury, right? And I found a client in a relationship that I had to woo over the course of many, many years. But I knew that relationship, A, was pure because I actually liked the person, right? B, had opportunity for potential growth to get involved in certain real estate deals and transactions. And then also the benefits that I can bring to my friend through my network and years of networking, and what I could do by benefiting from through that person's network. And I focused on that. And that was very, very important for me to capitalize on one relationship. And I didn't focus on 30, I focused on one. I just said, look, I'm going to go deep on one. And then once I went deep on one, I found another and I went deep on that. And then I introduced them. And then I found another and I went deep on that. And then I introduced them. And then they introduced me to their friends. And then they're introduced to the first guy who's introduced second. And then I'm always in the middle. And then one of them happened to be the person who I sold the $18 million place to and then flipped it for 34. So now I made a client $14 million in 14 months. And that client has a lot of friends. Do you see what I'm saying? So I could have easily just did all the deals and said, oh, I'm a deal machine and did all that stuff. And yes, it's very important, but I sacrificed. So I took a step back from my deals to build relationships, which then if I invest in heavy and add value the whole time and introduce more people and create an ecosystem in a very tight-knit circle, which is what I've done, of people and influence, selling luxury turns into one of your friends just saying, hey, my friend just lost out on this townhouse. Would you want to just talk to him real quick? Oh yeah, what was the townhouse? I was just a $30 million townhouse. Do you want to just have a quick call? Yeah, sure, no problem. Right? Like very, very important to be in that circle because then the call is trusted and validated. I recently had a client that came to me through another client who I've done business with, whose company is public. And even though I came through my friend, through somebody who I've done business with, the person that I was introduced to didn't give me the time of day. Really thought I thought that I was, his enemy at the beginning. I was like, why is this guy treating me like an enemy? Why am I an enemy? I thought I was in the circle. So what I'm saying is that even though you might be in the circle, you still have to earn it. And everybody has to earn everything every single day. This is not a situation where you just show up and you do it. Unless, I don't know, maybe your dad is the CEO of YSL and he just buys $30 million places and then you get the commission. Maybe that happens. I don't know. That townhouse that I was working on with this client, it was pretty rude, to be honest, at some points. But that was because I recognized that he didn't necessarily know me. And he also didn't believe that I was looking out for his best interest. So you had to show that. You had to earn it. And I did that over the course of many, many weeks. And I had submitted an offer with him on a very expensive property that Ryan Serhant has listed. It was rejected. But because it was rejected, that person fired me. So I believe at the end of September 2020, just a couple months ago, that client fired me. Okay, so I didn't really do anything. I didn't scream, cry, kick, hem, haw. The great thing about me is I understand that this business, and I hope you all can get this, is one big roller coaster ride. Okay, real estate is a roller coaster ride of emotions, right? So yeah, he fired me. But when you're a real estate agent and when you're a luxury agent, nobody who's buying a $30 million place wants to deal with the person who's, this deal's just so hard. I don't know if we're going to make it. Oh, we got to accept an offer. This is amazing. Like, no. You want to be a luxury agent? These are the facts, John. This is why you should buy it. It's west facing. It's a double lot. Lots like this trade exactly at this number, if not more. Yes or no? They don't need the fluff. They don't need the roller coaster. When they're going up and down, because they're going to be on their roller coaster, that is for certain. As a luxury agent, it is your job to be steady, Eddie, the entire time. And they're going up like this. Very, very important concept for new agents to understand. Because new agents, in my experience, what I hear them saying oftentimes is, I care so much about my client. I'm just really, I feel for them and I really want to feel their pain. And I want to go up and down on this journey with them. And yeah, going up and down that journey, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. It also sounds like an emotional nightmare. Are you sleeping? Are you eating properly? You got to take care of your health, right? So as much as people, and I have the opportunity to, make 300 grand, 400 grand right now, maybe, But it might not happen. And we have to learn to be disciplined in managing our own expectations. Because at every point of any luxury deal that I have done, there's come a point in that deal where you have to be willing to lose the deal. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to be willing to lose the deal. Okay? So what I mean by that is, most people say to me, oh my God, Nile, we got to get this deal done. I need this deal. I got to pay rent. I got to do this. Oh, I got a mortgage. I got a wife. I got kids. I got to do this deal. You know what that is? You know what kind of energy that is? That's energy that comes from a lack. Because at the end of the day, I don't need any deal. That's what sells luxury. I don't need this deal. This deal needs me. That's the key. You have to know that this deal needs you. Most deals at the luxury level that fail because the agent didn't necessarily do their job. When people say, oh, it's the fault of the attorney. Oh, the attorney, the attorney. Well, the attorney is getting paid. The attorney has a retainer. As a real estate agent, do you have a retainer? Are you getting paid? No, you only get paid when the deal closes, right? So if the attorney's not doing their job, we can't sit there and be like, there's nothing I can do. Attorney's not doing his job. What would you do? As we talk about these luxury points, the thing that's the most important, and to quickly, kind of summarize a lot of what I've been saying here, is that the first thing is you have to outlast other people, right? By outlasting, you get experience, you learn, you fail, and it prepares you and it sets you up so that the moment that actual very, very tough deal that you're working on is about to, you're okay, you're calm, you're cool, you're collected, you've been here before. So that doesn't reek to your client that you're desperate, that you need the deal. Yeah, is it nice to make $500,000? Yes, and I've done it, okay? But at the same time, you have to be emotionally prepared for that. It twists your heart. It makes you feel good one day. It makes you feel terrible another day. But it's all about how you manage your own internals. And if you could do that correctly and you could learn through failure over the course of many years, then you're going to set yourself up to be an unbelievable luxury agent. In order to really be the best luxury agent, a network of people is essential. So you have to have a network. If you don't have a network, don't worry about it. Neither did I. I knew nobody when I got to New York. I also had $0 and I was in thousands of dollars in credit card debt. But I made a decision to bet on myself, put everything I had on credit cards, $60,000, $70,000 in debt at some points. But I was just building relationships and not really talking too much about it because it's my business, not anyone else's. No one needs to know. And now no one really needs to know because it doesn't even matter at this point. I have the relationships, I have the deals. But it was a long-term process. And it was me having a very specific vision of being in luxury, selling to celebrities and models and athletes, which I've done all of it. And if I tell you some of the people on my client list, I'd have to kill you. Because the reason why some of these really wealthy people work for me is because I don't say shit. Yeah, I'll talk in broad generalities, but I'm not talking about specifics, am I? Discretion. You want to work with someone famous, you better not say shit. And I know it's exciting. Oh, Britney Spears. Oh, Britney Spears. I'm working with Britney Spears. Just another day, another dollar. I had a huge crush on Britney Spears when I was a kid, by the way. Who didn't? But the point is you gotta keep your mouth shut. And to this day, there's been some amazing things that I'd love to tell a lot of people, but I really can't. And by being like that, it might be frustrating for your friends, family, and other people involved. But that's how you win more business. So think about that. And then the other thing is you got to know your product. You got to really know the product. And there's no such thing as free lunch. Every deal that I've ever done, north of $10 million required a lot of blood, sweat, tears, research, comps, analyzing the numbers. Is this really a comp? Well, it's east facing. It's not west facing. It doesn't have the sunset. It's on a lower floor. It's in a different building. That's a co-op. This is a condo. This is, I don't know, a wet lot. This is a dry lot if we're talking about Miami or southern Florida. So you really have to know that. And the way that you know that is by putting yourself out there consistently over the course of many, many years, okay? And over time, that's going to be the thing that really helps you. Two other things that I want to talk about. Responsiveness, okay? Manhattan real estate is not Nebraska real estate. Manhattan real estate boils down to a matter of hours, minutes, and seconds. Securing a deal for yourself is life or death, and sometimes it is. I'll give you one example. I did a deal. It was a rental for $65,000 a month. The place was listed for $55,000 a month. This deal was currently off market because they got an application, so they took it off the market. Because I'm a savage and called everybody, including the people that were just recently delisted, I called this person and said, hey, you had this place on the market for $55,000 a month. Why did it just come off the market? See, I'm doing my research. I'm uncovering every single situation. And he said, oh, you know what? We just got an application. And I said, are the leases signed? Is this a closed deal? Do you have the money? He said, no, I don't. I said, okay, you're going to show me the apartment to my clients today at 3:00. And he said, well, I can't do that. We have an application out. I said, do you want more money? How about more money? Does more money sound good to you? He's like, what do you mean? Does more money sound good to you? He was like, yeah. I said, okay, get me the appointment today at 3:00. Okay, there's also like being persistent, right? So like they wanted to see something immediately. I had to be responsive to their demands. Nothing really fit. I called something that was off the market. He wasn't going to show it. I demanded that he showed it. I showed it. And on the spot, my client offered $10,000 more. So not only did I make him more money in his commission, but I netted him and his landlord, his owner, an extra $120,000 in income per year because he listened to me. And when I call on behalf of some of the big guys that I call, I might be scary because I am not going to let you off the phone. And if you're going to be an attorney who's not going to do the part of the deal that's going to work, I'm going to find where your office is and then show up. Because when I'm dealing with people at this level, there is no excuse. It is your job to get it done, to figure it out. Otherwise, you don't get paid. I mean, it's just like, you could be a nice guy all you want, but if you can't figure it out at the end, at the 11th hour and the deal doesn't go, you've made $0. I don't care how many contracts you've had out. So it's up to you, not the attorneys, not the stupid people who are messing up the mortgage. If that's what the case is, then you're out there. You're running around, literally, okay? And you're figuring out if you got to take a flight, if you got to drive, if you got to get off your butt. Oh, they're not answering their phone. They're not responsive via text. Have you tried showing up to their office or walking to their house? Aggressive, I know. Effective, I know. Let's see, there's one other thing that I just wanted to say, and this is something I wrote. I wrote an instruction manual in the business of real estate. It's about 150 pages, something like that. It's all my favorite words. It's all my favorite quotes. And a lot of what this podcast is going to do is it's going to talk about these ideas that I have in my business philosophy and how it relates to real estate. So this is something that I wrote when I started a real estate brokerage when I was 28 years old. I wrote this. I was only in the business for 4 or 5 years, something like that. But I think it's totally applicable to today. And this is what I wrote. Focus less on the salary, title, location, or the view from your office. Those things will take care of themselves if you work hard, do well, build relationships, and find ways to work with talented people in the first place. And in general, all of the money that I've made is simply a byproduct of my constant pursuit of personal and professional growth, coupled with my ability to build long-term relationships built on trust and showing up. I'll tell you, if I say I'm going to be there, I show up, and people respect that. To get where I am today, I did not complain about my income. In fact, I deliberately made less income to focus on building relationships. It's wild to see that I wrote this in 2011 because or ask for a better office or more opportunities to be handed to me. No. Instead, I knew I had to be the one who was motivating the change. I had to be the cause of my own life. So I put my head down, took on more and more responsibility, offered sound advice, didn't bother anyone with every little thing, figured things out on my own, asked thoughtful questions, and got it done for my clients consistently over the last 15 years, over and over and over. So based on that, my success in the luxury market specifically is not a random feat. My success is the accumulation of hard work, focus, discipline, and the humility and willingness to learn that has allowed me to get to where I am today. And I just wanted to share that with you because you might see me as somebody who closes a $30 million deal and say, oh, he came into this business with a silver spoon. Well, remember from the first episode, my first deal was a $650 basement apartment in Bushwick that had rats everywhere. I didn't know any better. I had no clue. I also knew nobody and was broke and poor. And 2008 happened. So I got into real estate, just like Ryan Serhant, the exact same time when the world totally was in meltdown mode, global financial crisis. But I still made it. And the reason why I'm so passionate about sharing my stories to you right now is because you're watching this, you're saying, can I do it? There's doubt in your mind. Well, he did it. Well, he's good looking or he's a bald guy. Yeah, you know what? For many years, I had hair and I was balding and I looked like I was way older than I was. And looking at pictures, I can't even see it. Like I'm a total weirdo. I was on a Bravo TV show. Most people don't know that, but I was because I had hair at the time and I was balding and I looked like maybe an idiot. But I went through that phase and everyone has phases. Oh, one other thing, in order to be a super great luxury market real estate agent, for the first 10 years of your life, if you're a guy, you should just wear this uniform, a suit and tie everywhere. I don't care if it's midnight. I don't care if it's 1 a.m. I don't care if you're going to the gym. I don't care if you're going to go to Whole Foods. Because when you dress like that, you dress for success. I mean, people recognize it. You walk out in a T-shirt and a hoodie. I worked at, another firm that was very tech forward and everyone wore hoodies. I'm sorry, but my guy's not trying to spend $30 million with somebody that wears a hoodie. That's a fact. So I dress for success. I put myself into this situation. This is a sales business. Remember that at the end of the day, real estate is sales. And without thick skin and steadfast attitude about these things and discipline, you're really not going to last. Okay? You got to be strong. You got to hold your head high. You got to know your worth. You got to add value. Let me be completely honest with you. You have to add value to other people's lives. And if you do that consistently, there will be a time where you get a phone call and it says, this whole pandemic thing, I think I got to get out of New York. Maybe we should go to Florida. And then the rest is history, And the people that I'm working with now, that I had to earn trust with and that kind of really beat me up, those people, they've called me recently too. And you know what they say? Today's your lucky day. Every day is my lucky day. I built this, So I hope that you have the courage to do the exact same thing. And I believe that everybody can break into the luxury market. I think the luxury market is a very complicated thing to break into. But once you get there, if you know what you're talking about and you're willing to put in the work, be available, be responsive, it's actually super fun. It's thrilling. I think it's a complete game all the time. I'm not attached necessarily to the money that I make. I'm attached to the deal. I'm attached to the thrill of executing a deal for my friends, for my clients in New York City, in the biggest real estate market in the world. This is the capital of real estate. And, I'm having a blast. So, at the end of the day, you could do a lot of different things, but just have fun and be yourself. And if someone doesn't like you for being yourself, fuck it. They're not for you. You'll attract the right people and it will happen, but you have to be consistent. You have to have a vision of where you want to go. You have to determine and decide right now. Are you a luxury market real estate agent? Are you a luxury real estate agent? Ask yourself that question. Because it's 2023 now. And if you really want it in turbulent times, it is out there, but you first have to decide. So please decide right now. And while you're deciding, don't forget to hit that like button, that notification bell, add some comments. I'll respond back to you. I really appreciate you. I'm also on Twitter @Nile Lundgren. I'm also on Instagram @Nile Lundgren. I'm also on LinkedIn @Nile Lundgren. I have NileLundgren.com, LundgrenTeam.com. And by the way, we got the website for this podcast. It's thebrokerthatneversleeps.com, and all of our episodes are going to be hosted there. So thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody. Have a blessed day, and we'll talk soon.